Hello, my name is Kayla Lewis, and I am here to talk about the importance of play. I am currently a preschool teacher. My students' ages are 4 and 5. I have 10 kids in my room. Before this job, I was working at a daycare where my age range was from 4 months to 3 years, all in one classroom. And so I've had the experience of seeing how play is beneficial for different development stages. The biggest example of the benefit of play is physical play. Whenever children go outside and run around and play, they not only are out in nature learning about nature, but they're developing their gross motor skills and even fine motor skills if they're maybe, sorting stones or something. They are also working on social development, and they are also working on self-control. And then there's also them working on their rule-making skills and following and enforcing the rules. Now, after they have outdoor play or some type of gross motor skill play, then when you come into the classroom, they are more focused on what you would call traditional learning. And at this stage, traditional learning is actually circle time, where they sit in a circle. In my room, we read a book, we sing days of the week song, the months of the year song, we count. We also do classroom good mornings, where everybody says good morning to everybody. And then that's the most set down structured play that we do, and that maybe takes 10 minutes, maybe. Not even that most of the time. And the reason behind this is because children can't just sit for periods of time to listen to what their ABCs are, or sit down and work on math. Kids need play. And so some examples that I'm going to use here are in one of my centers we have cars, little toy cars. Cars help with developmental skills of the gross and fine motor skills. They also are working on cooperative play. They are learning physics. And they are also learning that their actions have consequences. So if you push a car, it's going to roll back and forth. Another example would be in my dramatic play section, which we just call the kitchen area, the kitchen center. So if they're in the kitchen center, we have several different toys for them to play with. We have pretend food, cups, plates, all kinds of tableware. We have costumes. We have baby dolls and clothes for the babies. We have Barbies. And we have a little table where they can all sit at and have a tea party or something. So this is important because they're learning domestic skills. For an example, say one kid is hosting a tea party. Well, they are learning how to be a host. The different things that a host does. They serve their guests. They make sure they're happy. And even in terms of the guests, they're practicing manners. They're practicing how to behave at a tea party or at somebody else's house. And then we have the baby dolls. They are learning compassion. They are learning empathy. They're pretending to change a baby's diaper, which is a very important skill. They are pretending to feed their babies, take them for a walk, learning all these basic building blocks that would be very useful in a domestic setting. In terms of the food and the tableware and the silverware, they are using their imagination and they're pretending to cook, which is another useful skill that adults use. They are learning how to set plates. They are learning different containers can hold a different amount of things, which is also physics. In our library, they are learning language arts skills. Now, my kids can't entirely read. Not yet. They're 4 and 5. And so they can look at the pages of a book and they can learn that, there's all of these scribbles. And these scribbles are significant in some way or form. So, like, an easy word for kids to learn is, like, mom. It's M-O-M, it's easy. So say, like, a book is, like, called, I don't know, Mom's Kisses Goodnight. Well, they are learning that, these words tell the story of what they see on the pictures in the picture books. And we also go to the library whenever I sit down and read. This is also helping them with language skills, because then they're learning that, different words, because they're actually hearing it. They're also working on listening skills. That, like, all these strings of letters are telling a story that go with the pictures. And so if it's a story they're really familiar with, like Put Me in the Zoo, then they can eventually get to the point where they can use the pictures, they can look through the book, and then they can tell the story, maybe not entirely accurately, but they can sit down and eventually tell the story considerably close to how it's supposed to be. This is something that I've seen in kids as early as 2 years old, with those that can talk. And then we have our arts center, which is always a big controversial center, because a lot of people don't see the value in art. Well, art in the art center, say the kids are drawing, they are developing the skills, their fine motor skills that they need to learn how to write. Children, whenever they are writing or, scribbling or doing whatever, you can actually see, like, how a 1-year-old's drawing is different than a 2, 3, 4, and 5-year-old's. And you can see how it might start out in circles and squiggles and lines, but as they get older, then they start doing, like, zigzags, or what we call scribble writing, where they scribble, but it looks like the words in a sentence on the way. And then they move then to, like, writing letter-like shapes. And from there, they can learn how to write shapes. And then from there, they learn how to put the shapes together to make a word. So it helps their language skills, too. Our music center is also very useful. And like with the arts center, that it helps them with emotional skills. Art and music are some of the best examples, or the best ways to control your emotions, to channel your emotions. When children work on that, then they are learning to channel their emotions or express their emotions. Maybe in something they can't put in words, they can put in a drawing. And it'll show the teacher or the adults maybe what's going on with the kid right now. And so those are just a few examples of how play is actually a form of learning for children. And even more so, play is learning for children.